Hey guys, today I'm going to be bringing you my Thunder Dragon Chaos deck that I played back in September at GOATformat.com's Shonen Jumpr and Dragon Tournament. I played in, I think it was 3 of roughly 5 or 6 tournaments that they had. This was the deck that I used. I went 7-2 or 7-3 with. I got 3rd, 4th place. I ended up losing to, I forget who it was. He was friends with Master Chief and he was running the deck that had like double Royal Decree, Mirror Force, and double, what's it called, 7 Tools of the Bandit, along with like Skilled Dark Magician. So he was a good player and he got me that time. There's some really good players that day. I don't know who won it all, I forget, but the first time, all 3 tournaments I played Thunder Dragon Chaos. The first time I went 4-2. Second time I went like 7-2, 7-3, whatever that final record ended up being. And third time I went 2-2, and I lost out. I wish I would have done this a lot sooner. I can't talk about my matches because I don't remember them. The only thing I remember is in 2, if not all 3 of the matches, I played Siski, whatever his name is. I played in round 1, the first round, like 2 out of 3, if not all 3. I played against Diana while she was playing her Reversal Quiz OTK deck. And I beat her because my deck mains a lot of outs, being triple Book of Moon, triple Raigeki Break, triple Solemn Judgment to Royal Magical Library, and Giant Trunade. So I drew those and I ended up winning against her. And then, yeah, it was a really fun tournament. I had a great time having a day of GOAT format. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. For the traps, I ran the best trap in the format, Ring of Destruction. I played triple Raigeki Break, and I played triple Solemn Judgment. So I think while Ring of Destruction is a single best trap in the format, the best like grouping of cards is going to be Solemn Judgment. Having 2 Solemn Judgments, heck, even having 1 Solemn Judgment while you're going into summon Chaos Sorcerer, or better yet, Blackluster Soldier, and you're using these offensively, it's just the best card. Raigeki Break, I didn't have a specific reason for playing these over Phoenix Wing One Blast at the time. They're very important because you'll see it when I go through the spells. I don't play Noblemen, and I'll kind of explain that. But that makes Raigeki Break extremely important for hitting like standby phase, face-down monsters to try to get rid of flip monsters before they're able to get their effects, or being able to hit back rows because I don't run like Dust Tornado, anything like that. So Raigeki Break was incredible. I'm not mad I played over Phoenix Wing One Blast. I just think that's more of a personal preference. I didn't have a specific reason why I played this over Phoenix Wing One Blast, but I chose 3 Raigeki Breaks, and it worked out very well. For my spells, I'm running triple Book of Moon. Now, triple Book of Moon, I think it's probably pretty standard in Thunder Dragon Chaos. I don't run Scapegoat and I don't run Metamorphosis. This card, which gave me more room to work with spells and whatnot. So this card was extremely important because it was able to flip down Kaikus, flip down King Tiger Wangus, obviously stop the Blade Knights, the Mystic Swordsmen, Thousand Eyes, the normal stuff it stops. But really those King Tiger Wangus and Kaikus. So I think that roughly around this time was when the anti-meta warrior type decks really started popping off. King Tiger Wangu and the Light of Intervention combo. I think that was the one that came out roughly the tournament literally right before this was when that was like shown and became popular in GOAT format world. So a lot of people were playing that, so it was very important for me to have the Book of Moons to be able to shut that down so I could continue playing, or just summon something attack over King Tiger Wangu, like Dekoichi or whatever it might be. But Book of Moon, extremely important, very good at 3 in this deck. And I played 2 Upstart Goblins because I want to get to my cards as much as possible. Obviously, this deck could have a terrible time bricking, but once the engine for like Night Assailant, Thunder Dragons, whatever, once that gets going, there's no stopping that. The advantage that this deck can build in a very short amount of time is extremely overwhelming for a lot of decks. But the problem being that getting to those cards that create advantage creates a problem. So that's why I ran the double Upstart. I think you have to run those in kind of like Thunder Dragon, Night Assailant type deck, just so that way you can get to all the cards that need to go together. Then I ran just standard stuff, Card Destruction, Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, Delinquent Duo, Typhoon, Heavy Storm, Snatch Steal. So the cards I want to point out here are going to be Snatch Steal, and Graceful Charity. Graceful Charity because within GOAT format, I don't think that there is a more powerful combo than having first turn Thunder Dragon with Graceful Charity in hand. Not only do you get to dig that far into your deck and go grab from 6 cards in hand, go grab 2 more copies of Thunder Dragon, dig 3 more cards on top of that, and then basically swap out your entire hand of a useless, like what was Graceful Charity and 2 Thunder Dragons while loading up your graveyard with light. I don't think there's a better combo. The only thing that might be better is if you already have a 2 flip monsters in the graveyard and you discard 2 Night Assailants and you get those back on top of drawing 3 cards. That might be the only thing that's better. Or if you discard like a Sinister Serpent, something that you know you're going to be getting back later on. So I think that this alone, and in general, I think Thunder Dragon Chaos is probably one of the easier decks to play. It's pretty linear. It's get Lights and Darks engraved, summon Chaos monsters, win game. There's really not a whole lot of variation from that. So I think if you're a better player and you're looking for some easy wins, try Thunder Dragon Chaos and look for just those kind of combos. Not that they're anything special and normal people wouldn't be able to see them, but they really show the power of what's actually available in GOAT format. And then Snatch Steal. So I really didn't have anything to do with a monster once I stole it, but Snatch Steal is really good for helping create OTKs. It's normal Snatch Steal stuff. I could have sacrificed for Thunder Dragon, but normally I don't like playing Snatch Steal whenever I don't have anything to actually do with monster once I take it. So I think just taking a monster, unless you're going for game or it's Tribe or Chaos Sorcerer or something like that, it's not a lost card, but how do I put this? It's kind of, well, what if they just have MST or Dust Tornado or something on their next turn, or Breaker? I always want something that I can do with the monster afterwards, be it like Tsukiyomi, which I guess I run triple Book of Moon, but something like Tsukiyomi, Book of Moon, tribute it for a monster after I use it to attack, and I'm able to do something with it to try to bait out the Book of Moons, the Sakuretsu Armors, Mirror Force, whatever it might be. But I think that's where Snatch Steal really shines, is not because it takes a monster, but you getting that free monster and being able to bait out the Sakuretsu Armors and stuff. So you now just got their 2 cards for your 1 Snatch Steal, which in that sense, it's almost like a Pot of Greed. Not a Pot of Greed, a Delinquent Duo, but just for stuff that's on the field. That's how I like to look at my Snatch Steals, especially when I don't have anything to do with the monster. But going on, that was a little bit of a rant. One of 2 MVPs on the tournament is going to be My Body as a Shield. I do not remember where I got this idea from. I don't know if I just looking through my box of cards and thought, wow, this card is going to be awesome for GOAT format. I have no idea. I did not see, from what I remember, I didn't see people playing it before I played it, and I sure saw a lot of people playing it after I played it. Not that I'm trying to take the credit for finding this card in GOAT format, because that's certainly not the case, but it definitely blew up after this tournament. So My Body as a Shield protects you from Ring of Destruction, Raigeki Break, Torrential Tribute, Sakuretsu Armor, Mirror Force, which right there alone, that's what, almost every major trap card, on top of Smashing Ground, Lightning Vortex, Tribe Infecting Virus, Bottomless Trap Hole, if I didn't already say that. And most importantly, the most important card, Nobleman of Crossout. So I didn't play Nobleman of Crossout. I think if you're playing fun duels on Dueling Book and you're just looking for one-of games versus playing like in tournaments, that's 2 extremely different mindsets. You should not go into a tournament with a mindset of I'm playing random players. The players, especially in this tournament, there are some very, very good players from what I saw. Very high-level competition in these tournaments. And from other games I watched, which I did watch a lot of games. So the mindset being that I wasn't expecting to play a whole lot of GOAT control decks. GOAT control it's good for fun or just standard like random play if you're going through Dueling Book, because it's not that it's easy to play, but if you're a better player, it's a more effective deck for sure. It's definitely a more effective deck. But if you're going into a tournament, I'm expecting to see lower versions of lower amounts of GOAT control, and I was expecting to see a lot more of warrior, anti-meta warrior type stuff. I had seen about, I think it was 3 of those in the previous tournament, and I was just thinking, man, I'm going to see a lot of these again. I need stuff that's going to protect me from their Sakuretsu Armors, Noblemans, things like that. So I popped in My Body as a Shield. Nobleman, I don't even think I cited it. I think the idea of Nobleman of cross out in a tournament, just to hope that they have a random set monster, is bad. I think it's a bad mindset. If anything, and you're looking to avoid those set monsters, you should be main decking 1 or 2 mind controls or siding the mind controls in this kind of tournament. But my body as a shield protecting my set monsters and making offensive pushes it won me games. I can't tell you how many times I would just go summon Blackluster Soldier or Chaos Sorcerer or the other MVP, Kaiku. I would summon Kaiku, set this, pass. They go summon Tribe, think that they're going to be able to get rid of Kaiku, summon Blackluster Soldier, and win the game. Well, no, because I have my body as a shield. Summon Kaiku and attack, Sakuretsu, my body shield. Gale Force, my body as shield. It was literally just probably one of the better cards all day. I think if anything, I would definitely have been willing to drop either a Raigeki break or maybe even like a Book of Moon for a second copy of this card. I cannot say enough about this card. It's one of those cards that whenever I play a lot of flip effects now, regardless of tournament setting or not, I will probably be including this in my main deck of 40. It is an extremely powerful card. I highly recommend everyone try this card if you haven't tried it already. And if you're going into tournaments like the Shonen Jump tournament, think twice about main decking Nobleman of cross out. It's a very dead draw, very bad. It's something that I'd say is more likely to be side deck, but if you're not maining like 2 Tsukiyomis and 2 Book of Moons on top of it, I don't really see why you would run that. Just let them have the flip effect and just try to play the game. That's how I see that. And for the monsters, the namesake, triple Thunder Dragon, double Night Assailant. Not much to say about this. This engine, I think, just the best, really. I don't know. There's not much more to say. It's pretty well known, pretty standard, whatever. Double Dekoichi. Without a doubt, the second MVP of the day. I played double Kaiku. I'll talk more about that after I get done putting everything down. Double Chaos Sorcerer. I only ran 2. 3 was... It's a bit too dead drawy for me. This deck already has a lot of what can be potentially very bad hands, so I definitely went with 2 Chaos Sorcerer instead. 1 Blackluster Soldier. 1 Azure Priest. This was interesting. This card could have been literally anything. It could have been Faith, it could have been Air Knight Parjath, it could have been Skilled White Magician, Blade Knight, whatever. I think if I were to go back and do it again, Blade Knight probably would have been the more optimal choice, just because it does hit those flip effect monsters, obviously, and it can get up to 2,000, which is extremely important for many, many matchups, being able to get over King Tigers, Kaikus, whatever it might be. But I chose Azure Priest, and I think that was bad on my part because it goes against... Azure Priest is good against what? Like goats and recruiters. And that really goes against the whole idea of why I didn't play Nobleman of Crossout, because I was under the assumption I'm not going to see that many goat decks. I'm going to see a lot more aggro decks that summon bigger beaters, and instead of Blade Knight, I chose Azure Priest. I'm pretty sure I play tested it a decent amount of time up to that. I can't remember that far back, but looking back on it, I'm not going to say it was a bad card because it worked out pretty well, I'm going to say. But I think Blade Knight definitely would have been the better card. Then I ran 1 Magician of Faith. I only ran 1. I don't like playing 2 Magician of Faith anymore. I can't stand Magician of Faith as a card. It's one of those cards where if you play 2, you open 2. And you don't have any spells to go with it. It goes good with Delinquent Duo, goes good with Graceful Charity, goes good with Pot of Greed, goes good with every spell. But having to, like, very rarely are you going to get those Graceful Charities, Pot of Greeds, duos backed by Faith. Does it happen? Yeah, absolutely. But you're more likely than not going to get, like, the Book of Moons or the card destruction or whatever. And it turns you into, if you want those back, you have to make extremely awkward plays to be able to set them up with Faith. I think if you're going to run like standard Go control, we're also running Scapegoat, Metamorphosis, like other spells on top of that, great. Like double Faith, go for it. If you're running even more spell intensity, like intensive decks, run triple Faith. I'm not against that either. I used to run triple Faith and an Apprentice Magician, and I was a big fan of that for a while. But more than 1 Faith, not a fan of. It just being an instant target for no myth cross out, and then I lose 2 copies of light monsters, leaving me only with what would have been like probably 3 thunder dragons at the time, and maybe a Zerg priest if I was still running that. Not a fan of that. So I only ran 1 copy. I don't regret that. I don't ever want to run more than 1 copy. Then I ran Breaker. Let me clean this up a little bit. I'm going to move these out of the way. 1 Breaker, nothing special to say about him. 1 Serpent. 1 Sanyan. 1 Tribe. 1 Morphing Jar, which I really like Morphing Jar. If you're going to be playing, well, in my opinion, if you're playing like triple Book of Moon along with like Ring of Destruction, Sakuretsu Armors, or in my case, Raigeki Breaks, whatever it might be, Morphing Jar is an incredible card. It's very powerful. Just set Jar, set 1 Book of Moon, pass. How often do decks like go summon 3 monsters, summon 2 monsters on the first turn to be able to both get attacks? Not very often. So it's probably just like summon 1 monster their first turn or set, and if they do attack, they attack. Book of Moon, your turn, you draw, set everything, flip Jar, just get massive pluses. I did win several games like that. If I run triple Book of Moon in a deck, chances are I'm going to be running a Jar with it. And then finally I ran Cyber Jar. Good dark monster, helped me get my monsters on the field, like the Kaikus, the Morphing Jar, Decoichis. It helped me dig into my deck and get to those Night Assailants, things like that. It was a good card. There were several times, and I don't know, because this is definitely a more aggressive deck, I'd say, but it happened several times. I remember this, where we would get down to, my opponent would have, what was it? They would have a few back rows, so they wouldn't be able to like set everything. So if they have full back rows and then like a Scapegoat, for example, and you just set Jar, their turn, they summon, boom, you pop. My idea was Raigeki entire fields of Scapegoats, Raigeki entire fields of Kaiku, King Tiger, whatever it may be. That's why I ran Jar, and it worked out great. But if they have, like I said, full back rows, and then they're drawing like 5 cards, at the end of their turn, they're going to have to discard all of that, while I'm just getting free advantage because of it. All the cards I get, it's not my turn, so I get to keep them in hand. And that actually happened more often than I believe, because when you're playing at these higher level tournaments, I imagine this is what happens, that there's a lot more mind games. People do tend to be less aggressive because there's a lot more on the line. And so games go on much longer than if you're just doing a random play, and sometimes I go like 4 turns into a game and it's over, 3 turns, whatever. A lot of the games, they went on very long for whatever reason. And Cyberjar shines. He absolutely shines, being able to clear out an entire, like all monsters. And if they have full back row and they can't set any more back row, now they have to discard back down to 6 cards in hand, while I get to have 11 cards in hand or whatever it is, plus whatever monsters I set, plus whatever back rows I have. It definitely made those moments extremely bearable. And win those games for me. So to go back on, the second MVP of the tournament was Kaiku. Kaiku was interesting. So like I said, my mindset going into this tournament was, I'm not going to see a lot of Go Control, I'm not going to see a lot of Tsukiyomis. And that was for sure the case. I may have seen 1 Go Control, I don't remember. If I did, I'm absolutely 100% positive that Kaiku completely wrecked it. Kaiku was ruining people left and right all day long. Being able to attack over the King Tiger Wengus, being able to attack over the Skilled White Magicians, which were also becoming pretty popular, tying with other Kaikus, being able to shut out Chaos Monsters, remove Sinister Serpents, remove zombie types in case they had like Book of Life. I think that happened once, maybe twice, I don't really remember. But Kaiku was absolutely incredible. I don't know if it's because the metagame at the time was focused a lot more on Chaos Monsters, I want to say. So if you take the most recent, what was it, FLC, that Geist one, with his triple Blade Knight, triple Ninja Sasuke, I don't think Kaiku would do great against that, obviously, because the attack level of the monsters is much higher. He would need a lot more support. Whereas when I played in this tournament, I could literally just summon Kaiku, set maybe 1 Ring of Destruction, or 1 Raigeki Break, whatever it may be, and pass. And they would have to use multiple cards, like a Book of Moon plus something else to attack over it. And if they couldn't attack over it, I could just flip it back up next turn. When it was like protected by My Body as a Shield or Solemn Judgment, whatever, or if I book a moon and I'm able, because it did happen a couple times, I book a moon, summon Chaos Soldier, Black Luster Soldier, flip it up, and then just swing for game. That happened a few times. Kaiku, I think, is an extremely underrated card for Go format because there are incredible amounts of dark monsters that are very good, and people think I'd rather have this dark monster over Kaiku. And that 700 defense in a format of Bokomoons and Tsukiyomis and whatever else is tempting not to run, but Kaiku, definitely one of the better cards of the day. Probably the best card. This card won me almost every match. I cannot say enough about Kaiku and how phenomenal this card was for the tournament. Being able to stay over Zur Priest or get rid of Night Assailants, Serpents, Chaos Food in general, Thunder Dragons. Getting it off Cyberjar was pretty nuts a few times. Kaiku really was MVP. So just quick recap, Kaiku, My Body is a Shield. Try it out if you go into a tournament setting. It was great. Absolutely phenomenal. Now going into the side deck, I don't actually own all the cards I had in the side deck. I own these few, but it's not even like worth showing. So I'll just tell you what I ran. Let me look at the picture. My side deck was 2 Gravekeeper Spies, triple Mobius, and a Soul Exchange. So the idea behind that was really the Warrior, anti-meta Warrior. They can't swing over Gravekeeper Spy. Soul Exchanging into Mobius to hit multiple back rows is absolutely nuts. It's one of the nuttiest things in the world. So oftentimes, I think I would side out... What did I side out for those matchups? I think I sided out... I definitely sided out Azure Priest. I think both Chaos Sorcerers. And maybe one Book of Moon, both upstarts. And I would side in the Soul Exchange, triple Mobius, and Gravekeeper Spies. I don't think I may have drawn the Soul Exchange Mobius combo once the entire day. It worked out a lot less in practice than I thought it would in theory. But Mobius himself, one of the best side deck cards probably in the entire game. He just summoning Mobius and just getting rid of like Mirror Forces and Sakuretsu Armors to clear the way for Kaiku, that wins games. So Mobius was great. Gravekeeper Spy probably got Nobleman of Crossout more than it actually ever activated. Soul Exchange, I think I drew it 3 times total, like 3 or 4 times, only one of those times out of Mobius, so not great. And then I sided 1 Mirror Force, which I would take out a Raigeki Break for Mirror Force against aggro. So nothing spectacular there. 2 Royal Oppression. I think I had used it twice. I know it definitely won me a game. I can't speak to which it was because it's been so long. 2 Xing Zhang Hu, absolutely phenomenal side card against any control deck. I think I did play Gravekeeper deck, sided in the 2 Xing Zhang Hu, and one of the easiest matches of my life. I won game 1 and then Xing Zhang Hu game 2, and literally along with like Mobius's, I don't think I've ever had an easier match in my life, to be honest. 2 7 tools, I would side those in against control when I know they also had Solemns. So a lot of time I would side out, what did I side out? I think I sided out like Heavy Storm, Card Destruction, Upstart Goblins, Chaos Monsters. And I sided in probably 7 tools, Mirror Force, Mobius's, and Gravekeeper Spy type stuff, if I remember correctly. And finally, the other card that was absolutely just winning all day long was Magic Jammer. Magic Jammer, Magic Jammer, Magic Jammer. Incredible side deck card. Won me a game against Diana, who again, she was playing her Reversal Quiz OTK. Hitting Heavy Storms, hitting Graceful Charities, Pot of Greeds, Delinquent Duos, whatever it might be. Like just knowing that my hand was going to be safe and just being able to discard Thunder Dragon, Night Assailant, whatever it was. Whew. That was definitely the side deck MVP card, was Magic Jammer. I definitely won a lot of my games because they would just use a card and they think they'd Heavy Storm, Magic Jammer. Oh, wow, I thought you were going to use your Solemn. And then I saw my Solemn set for anything else. Magic Jammer was insane. Try that out if you haven't tried that. If you're running like a Thunder Dragon Chaos deck, try out a Magic Jammer. Actually, looking at it, I wish I would have mained 1 Magic Jammer and got rid of a Raigeki Break. Raigeki Break in its place. I think that would have been a good play on the day. But that was my entire little tournament report 25 minutes later. Let me know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. That took a long time to create, and that took a long time to make. I'm going to call that day, and you have a great day. Bye.